Ladies and gentlemen, there are recordings that I talked about in the segment prior to this one. These are recordings that Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and all the good, decent adults in the room who are going to protect us from the monster, the orange menace, Orange Julius Caesar, Trump, the devourer of worlds and democracies, Trump, the worst, most horrible Grinch who stole Christmas, the orange menace who is the destroyer of dreams and hopes and everything good and decent, the Freddy Krueger of the Democratic Party mind and heart and soul, Trump, a man who didn't accept, and because, Democrats said that he was installed by the Kremlin, thanks for accepting, and he was just everything wrong, and Trump, he committed so many crimes. How do we know? We know from the recordings from Liz Cheney about Rudy Giuliani having too many, beverages, and he was obviously not lucid, and Rudy Giuliani was inebriated, and then we found criminal activity. We don't know what the criminal activity is, but they want to indict Trump, and it's, oh my God. They're not going to do it, but you can just type in Google, indict Trump. You'll get about Newsweek, Business Insider, Washington Post, CNN. And so, New York Times, these people, 3 hours ago, they're all talking. This is all about the Giuliani recordings and indicting. There's enough evidence to indict Trump. And President Trump says the congressional panel is a disgrace to America as committee builds indictment against him, the Independent. So this is an abomination. And what Trump has done, well, we can't find anything to indict him on. No criminal charges. I wonder why. Meanwhile, the economy is collapsing. The stock market is tanking like I said it would. And watch the segment prior to this one. I'm a little bit more serious. And I talk about the Giuliani recordings where they're making a big deal about Rudy Giuliani not being, lucid or coherent. Allegedly not being, let's just say, himself when giving advice to Trump. And the big issue is that he was giving potentially criminal advice, or Trump engaged in a crime. And the recordings and the testimony today from his own team. So there was a clash between Trump's team and Rudy Giuliani, and there's chaos and mayhem and chaos, and former and current U.S. officials say there's just constantly chaos. I mean, who knows? Trump is capable of anything. And then we found out that there were quotes attributed to him. We don't have the evidence the quotes exist. There was no recording of those actual quotes that Trump was said to have stated, but we know that they existed because we know that Trump is capable of anything. So obviously they existed. And we have recordings now that claim that Rudy Giuliani was inebriated. And of course, if the recordings claim that, then obviously that's what took place. We have everyone from Liz Cheney to Adam Kinzinger to Democrats stating that there's enough evidence to indict and prosecute and charge and prosecute Trump. Well, we're waiting for that. Maybe when the Messiah comes, Democrats will then that will be their Messiah. that will be the Democratic Party Messiah. But the Trump recordings have not led to any criminal indictment, and the congressional panel hasn't hit subscribe to this channel right now. The stock market's crashing. Please watch my first segment of the day. Not many people on this channel truly, enjoy, or I guess I don't think the world sees the crash for what it is yet. But check my segment prior to the first segment on this channel, and then the second segment regarding Giuliani's recordings, and then I'm talking about Giuliani's recordings now. But watch also the stock market crash channel today and the Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or lower. I literally created a channel that said Bitcoin crash to 10,000 or lower, and it's happening right now. And I created a stock market crash channel, and it's happening right now on an H.A. Goodman. Watch the description below, and go to the description section. You can see all the predictions that I've made. Bitcoin, stock market, the economy, they're all there in the playlist. It was in September of 2021. And I was published in October of 2021 in the Federalist. And I predicted all of this, wrote about everything. Anyway, Democrats are focusing on this. They don't have anything. They're not going to indict Trump. He's a former president. And what took place, he's a former president that perhaps knows almost as much or more than they do. Actually, he's a former president with access to a great deal of information. And with the protections that come with a former president in terms of information. So they're going up against somebody they don't believe really was a former president, but he was. I think that's also an issue that there's a theatrical element to this. The theatrical element is that they don't really view Trump as a former president. They don't really view Trump as their, like, when they think of the Oval Office, the presidency, they don't think of Donald Trump as having been president. They don't think of him as having been the 45th president. I think that's an important distinction or unique aspect of this that I don't think really a lot of people understand. George W. Bush, the worst president of all time, who set us on a course of never-ending military conflict, financial ruin at the end of his presidency also. Wanted a marriage amendment, by the way. So interesting how the Lincoln Project people who wanted a marriage amendment and who opposed marriage equality, they haven't been canceled yet. Yet, with a capital Y, yet. But, I mean, the cancellation is right there when their utility is no longer needed by Democrats. But you look, ladies and gentlemen, and George W. Bush is revered now, or I should say respected now, by the same Democrats who once opposed him. But see, they just opposed a never-ending military conflict. I mean, that's just, Trump's tweets. Trump insults people. He insults people. He's a mean person. Therefore, we should charge him with the crime. Have you found one? No, we would. Giuliani's recordings, that's the basis of a crime. Well, where's the legal statute that it broke? It's there somewhere. The congressional panel today focused on recordings and witness testimony, and the witnesses didn't find any crime that Trump committed. The whole thing, this entire theatrical performance, this performance art is, Trump is very mean, and they will be, look, you have to understand something. There could be, God forbid, ICBMs flying above, the economy into a depression, which could happen. Stock market crashing, Martians coming down, invading the planet. The Earth opening up, people getting swallowed into the Earth as the ICBMs are above, and you look at your Robinhood account and there's nothing there, and your 401ks, and all of these things are taking place. You get stung by a bee, and stung. Oh, what? In fact, it's a hornet. You get stung by in fact, it's even more than that. It's a big giant bumblebee comes and gets you in the eye, and then the person next to you will say, well, at least Trump isn't tweeting. That'll be the morally superior liberal Democrat next to you. The absolute, everyone's reality is descending into oblivion, but the Democrat, the adult in the room next to you will say, at least Trump isn't tweeting. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. I'll be back. Go to the Stock Market Crash channel and the Bitcoin Crash channel right now. People, we are experiencing an epic, unfortunate economic collapse, and I explained in my Federalist article, and I predicted all of this in October and September on this channel. Go to the playlist right now in the description. Be here in about 2